Hey! Subscribe to the channel, click on the bell and listen carefully. Model spends $120,000 on 15 surgeries and has 6 ribs removed in her quest for a 14-inch waist because she wants to look like a cartoon character. Pizzy Fox, 25, wants to resemble an animated figure like Jessica Rabbit. She's had nose jobs, breast augmentations, and a bum lift to reach her goal. Rib removal is part of bid to shrink her waist to record-breaking 14 inches. The former electrician from Sweden now lives in North Carolina. With her impossibly tiny waist, inflated cleavage, and doll-like face, she looks as if she's just stepped out of a cartoon. But Pizzy Fox, 25, is very much a living, breathing woman, and she's spent more than $119,200, $79,160, on surgical procedures to achieve her look. Most shockingly, the former electrician from Sweden has had 6 of her lower ribs removed in a bid to shrink her waist to a record-breaking 14 inches. Pizzy Fox, 25, who is originally from Sweden but now lives in North Carolina, recently had 6 ribs removed as part of her transformation to look like a living cartoon character. The former electrician has a list of surgeries planned for 2016 to continue her transformation. People often come up to me and say, "Don't take this the wrong way, but you look like a cartoon," she says. But for me that's a compliment, that's what I want to achieve. Pizzy cites her inspirations as Jessica Rabbit, Aurora from Sleeping Beauty and Hollywood from Cool World. She has 70,000 followers on Instagram and insists she is a good role model for them. Those cartoon characters represent the idealization of the female body, she explains. I want to have the tiny waist, the butt, big boobs, big eyes, and a really pretty face. Having my ribs removed was just another step in achieving that ideal. Pictured before her transformation, Pizzy still had a stunning figure, but she said she was inspired to go under the knife because she wants to look like Jessica Rabbit, Aurora from Sleeping Beauty and Hollywood from Cool World. Pizzy's waist is now a tiny 16 inches, but she's aiming to shrink it even further to a record-breaking 14 inches. The inspiration behind her look is cartoon characters such as Jessica Rabbit, Aurora from Sleeping Beauty and Hollywood from Cool World. After 4 breast augmentations, Pizzy's chest has now gone from an A cup to a 38J. Pizzy, who now lives in North Carolina, underwent the extreme 5-hour keyhole surgery to have her ribs removed in Indianapolis last month after Dr. Barry Epley agreed to perform the procedure. The operation, which is irreversible, is usually performed for medical reasons, but it can be done for cosmetic purposes after extensive consultation. Getting my ribs removed has always been a dream of mine, Pizzy says. But it was really hard, almost impossible, to find a surgeon to do it. Next year Pizzy will have butt and hip implants, eyelash implants, and fat removal to help make her cheeks pop more. The aspiring model works out for up to 5 hours a day in a bid to slim down even further. Her commitment to achieving the tiniest waist in the world requires serious training. Now she's had her ribs removed, Pizzy's lower organs such as the liver are no longer protected. Pizzy's fans on social media are helping to fund her surgical procedures. Pizzy could see results and feel the difference within 2 days of her surgery. The only reason I have been able to do it now is that doctors finally started taking me seriously. They can see I'm not a crazy person and that I know what I'm doing. Pizzy's recovery from the $9,000, $6,000, operation was supposed to take 6 weeks. However, she was already back into her normal routine of wearing a corset 24/7 just 2 days later. I can see the results and feel the difference, she says. Before the corset would push against the ribs, which makes it harder and more painful to wear. Before she became surgery obsessed, Pizzy was a fresh-faced beauty. Pizzy is currently single, but has 70,000 admirers on Instagram. By continuing her intense workouts, Pizzy hopes to whittle her waist down even further. She wears a corset 24 hours a day to help reach her goal. By continuing her intense workouts, Pizzy hopes to whittle her waist down even further. She wears a corset 24 hours a day to help reach her goal. Taking into account lost wages, medicines, and traveling, Pizzy estimates it has cost her about $119,200, $80,000, to look like this. Now I can wear it even tighter without any pain. I think I am pretty close to the world record for smallest waist. The current record holder is American Kathy Young, 78, who has a 15-inch waist. If I just get time to heal and work out and continue my lifestyle, I'm going to go down to 14 inches, says Pizzy. The blonde has always been self-conscious about her nose, and has had 4 separate rhinoplasties. Pictured before a cosmetic procedure, Pizzy describes having her ribs removed as a dream. She underwent the extreme 5-hour keyhole surgery in Indianapolis last month after Dr. Barry Epley finally agreed to perform the procedure. Pizzy says her surgeon agreed to remove her ribs because he can see I'm not a crazy person and that I know what I'm doing. The operation is normally only performed for medical reasons, but can occasionally be done for cosmetic purposes after extensive consultation. She's also had cool sculpting, a non-invasive treatment to freeze fat. The procedures have taken 5 feet 4 in. Pizzy's measurements from 30-24-34 to an eye-watering 38-16-39. In a bid to shrink her waist even further, she works out daily for up to 4 or 5 hours. Eating substantial food such as bread or meat is a struggle, as it's uncomfortable because of her restrictive corset. So she mainly eats vegetables, fruit, and nuts, which she blends into a smoothie, as well as taking extra vitamins. In her younger years, Pizzy lived with her parents and older sister in a small rural town outside of Stockholm. Sweden is a very egalitarian country which does not encourage you to stand out, Pizzy says. She never felt she fitted in before she began her makeover. Cartoon characters represent the idealization of the female body, says Pizzy. A Brazilian butt lift has given Pizzy the rounded posterior she desired. A former boyfriend encouraged Pizzy to have her first boob job. Pizzy believes she's an inspiration to fans to be true to the person that's inside. Now that so many of her ribs have been removed, Pizzy's lower internal organs, including the liver, have lost some of their natural protection. However, she isn't worried about the risk to her health if she's in an accident. Before, if I was in a car crash, I would have broken my ribs, she said. If that happened now, I'm probably going to break my spleen instead. But I'm not concerned as I have my corset as my artificial ribcage now and I wear it 24/7. In her younger years, Pizzy lived a much less glamorous existence, living with her parents and older sister in a small rural town outside of Stockholm. Sweden is a very egalitarian country which does not encourage you to stand out. Her corset makes it uncomfortable to eat full meals, so Pizzy often survives on vegetables and fruit whizzed into a smoothie. She also takes extra vitamin supplements. The rib removal operation, which is irreversible, is usually performed for medical reason. Pizzy says that people look up to her because of her complete devotion to what she calls the bimbo life. I didn't feel like I fitted in. I was a tomboy. I worried about my nose, I didn't date and I felt vulnerable. After leaving school she trained as an electrician and saved up for a nose job. What I want to do is get a message out there that whatever you decide to do, you should dare to be yourself and surround yourself with people that support you for who you are. Her boyfriend at the time then encouraged her to have 2 boob jobs that took her from an A to a C cup. But it was after splitting from him in 2013 that her obsession to become a real-life cartoon really picked up. In total, she's had 4 rhinoplasties to sculpt the perfect nose and 4 breast augmentations to inflate her cleavage to a J cup. Her upper eyelids have been operated on and she's had 2 rounds of liposuction. She's had injectable fillers to plump up her cheeks and lips, and a Brazilian butt lift to give her a more rounded derriere. The aspiring model has even had a labiaplasty, a so-called designer vagina operation that reduces excess tissue from the labia. She's also had cool sculpting, a non-invasive treatment to freeze fat. The current record holder for the smallest waist in the world is American Kathy Young, 78, who has a 15-inch waist. Pizzy is hoping to steal her title. The model has her clothes custom made as conventional sizes don't fit her altered frame. Including the rib surgery, she estimates she has spent $119,200, $80,000, on surgery alone. But taking into account lost wages, medicines, and traveling, she estimates the true costs as thousands of dollars more. She paid for 11 of the procedures out of her own earnings and savings. The rest, including her 4th breast augmentation, were paid for by fans who have been following her transformation on social media and praising her for being an inspiration. Botox injections are also part of Pizzi's beauty routine. She's had injectable fillers to plump her lips and cheeks too. Her unnatural proportions are not unlike those of a Barbie doll. Your Instagram is very inspiring, a fan called dollproject_net wrote. Not only because your style is so unique and sexy, but also because of the way you share your passion with us. Thank you. Margarita Cakes echoed the sentiment, saying, "Your body is what motivates me to go to the gym and save up for the surgeries I plan to do." Put a like under this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell and share this video with your friends.